What's going on, everybody? This is Michael Stewart Isaacs,
And this is Shemekka and
and this is your next edition of
Sunday
Sunday Stacks.
Stacks.
Yes, Sunday Stacks. We are back, and we are excited as always to be alive. Yes, we are coming to
Yes,
you from the Alive Podcast Network. If you're checking us out on YouTube as well, that is okay. We definitely love touching bases with our audience.
absolutely.
You have been some great listeners just tuning in to all the excitement we bring week for week with Sunday Stacks. And we make sure that week for week it stacks up for you. As we've been building, we've been creating great episode content,
Yes.
live
Been
events.
busy.
I mean,
Yeah.
we are planning to continue to stack up, and I think that's the point and why we celebrate the Sunday Stacks podcast, because we try to be a living example of what it looks like when you just have a mindset that you're going to continue to create new additions to your life. Some people might choose to create new additions to their homes and create those improvements. Me and Shemekka are self-improving beings, right? We
Say
continuously
that.
try to improve ourselves
Mm,
for ourselves individually, for what we need to
hmm
do to improve our marriage, and the things we do to improve our family, community, and company. Yes, our FCC model. So we thank you always for listening, tuning in, getting the vibe with us, and really understand what we're building here at Sunday Stacks. And we will continuously bring to you week for week solutions to stack up your life and really give you something to hold on to. So we're excited.
Yes.
As we start each episode, we like to always start to share about how's it stacking. So Shemekka, come on, let's tell them how it's been stacked for us this week.
It has been stacking really beautifully. I feel good. I feel good in my spirit, my energy, and I've also been holding space to be considerate with how it's stacking for everyone as a collective this week. But when I think about it from an individual level, I've been having a lot of incredible, fruitful meetings. But I was also mindful to mind my self care this week with the election day being among us. But I'm also shouting out also that on November 7th, the Community Bill of Rights had its 3-year anniversary for being involved. Well, excuse me, 2-year anniversary for being involved. We've been active in building it for quite some time and still exercising its strength to hold power in this democracy. So I'm happy and excited to have year two behind us, and definitely check out, if you don't know what the Community Bill of Rights is, please check out that tool that can be used for meaningful community engagement and centering community, whether you're a philanthropic organization, whether you are a corporation, whether you're a nonprofit, definitely check it out at communitychampion.club. But yeah, how's it been stacking for you?
I mean, it's been going amazingly. I think we were discussing earlier, we can't overlook I guess you call it the elephant in the room, ba bump bump, you know. But we definitely,
Yes.
I mean, I have to, you're the elephant in the room, how we gotta say it. But we can't overlook what has happened this week. And as we have to really kind of reflect, I come finding myself understanding not to put all my eggs in one basket. And as these
And
old
don't cry over spilled milk.
tell it like it's true, like I've just kind of had to evolve and kind of build my perspective differently. This week, for me, I've really tried to find a greater gratitude for how I'm building for the rest of this year, really trying to close out
Hmm
things strong. Again, we focus on our FCC. So as I look at my stacking, family wise, I really have to prioritize the time with my kids and my family. My daughter is starting to get her notices back from her college prospects. Yes, yes, yes. And she's doing well with opportunities. We have all our kids kind of aligning their next few steps in regards to where their lives and careers are stacking up as well. So, I
hmm
always have to look at that space. And then just overall, when it comes to community, I mean, we've had some good times with community. I mean, tell them a little bit of what we've been doing in the
Yes.
community.
This week we continue in the wins. I guess my birthday season really hasn't ended. But
Never does.
but I was spending this birthday season uh giving away stuff and gifting others during this season. And so part of that was to sign up myself and some of my sister girls to go Thanksgiving shopping with a organizing led by Amber, called the Successful Business Women, and she convenes and collaborates with business women in the area. I'm a part of that group, and so I brought my crew, and we met with her crew, and we did what we could do for community and building a restful opportunity for families during this Thanksgiving to not have to be worried about not having what they need to have a full meal. So we went shopping today and sewed that into them. Got a chance to just celebrate, love on, and build with one another. So I still feel like this winning weekend is going, that we were able to come bring the brilliant bunch with us, and
Yeah,
they
shout
learned
out
the
Brilliant
power
Bunch.
and understanding of what it means to give to others. I don't like to necessarily use the less fortunate language, because we're all less fortunate in some point area or aspect of our life. But when we're thinking about how we can give thanks in service to others, it is being an asset and a supplier of what others may have need for. So we were the representation of God's angels here on earth this week, with the women from the sisterhood that met me there very early this morning, and jumped right in, got their list, and was going around shopping. And it felt good to work with people that know the assignment, and they're all about sewing and celebrating and praying and praising and dancing and partying. Like we do it all together, and I'm grateful for being connected. So it was about stacking in community this week for what we're doing, to just keep giving in the times that we have, the energy we have, what's going on, how people feel. It felt good to be intentional this week, to have that lined up after what we have experienced this week, to not think about ourselves and how we feel, but be able to take a moment and think about others and do something about it.
I love that. And as I look to just reflect on the company aspect, this has been a week of decompression for myself, just really taking time to kind of absorb all of these goods that could still be done in community. I think the best thing I've learned in this world, I would say busyness, right?
Mhm.
Business is that you have to organize and you have to come together in ways that create a service or product or something that benefits other people to improve their lives. And this week, I really had that time to really reflect and really mature. I think it's a maturity, right? I'm
Mhm.
not one of these people who get caught up into the winds of, who's choosing this. I mean, even like sports teams, I look at this like it's a huge sports team loss, like after a Super Bowl that people were super excited about. And I know that people understand there are political decisions and things on the line, but most definitely we want to make sure that we're focused still on when it comes to what our business is going to be and the way we have to adjust ourselves. And so as soon as I got the news this week, I made sure I got all of my team in alignment, started speaking to different groups and organizations that we are partnered with, and really had to get a pulse of how people are feeling, gave them that opportunity to grieve and feel what they're feeling. But at the same time, for those who were ready, action oriented and ready to keep moving forward, those people were able to have those conversations and grow. And I appreciate that about how my week has been stacking up because, even though decompression sometimes is a lonely moment of kind of having some silence and really thinking through steps. And I literally, Shemekka knows I have a thing I call 52 card shuffle. And that'll be in the last 90 days, anybody I met, I got their cards and I'm literally going through it, what notating, what I spoke to them about, what we're doing, following up with emails, finding them on LinkedIn, sending them, leaving a voicemail, sending a call, like really being thorough. And I do these things myself, y'all. And it's like we have teams and we have different people in roles, but sometimes you got to step up and really create the tempo of what you expect your organizations to look like and reflect. And I'm someone every day that picks up the phone myself and really gets busy to make sure things are growing. And that's why we continue to push this podcast. We keep on pushing all our other movements because
Yes.
if we don't, who will? And so,
Say that.
and I just want to add on real quick. I was fortunate as we are, of course, a podcast ourselves. Me and Shemekka, of course, are keynote speakers out here in this real world.
Oh, you had something dropped this
I
week.
had something drop
Yes.
this week, and I'm so proud of it. Shout out to my homeboy on Instagram, CEO Sani Hassan Thomas. He's a dope individual. He has a podcast series called FYI Fly. This individual is just amazing. He goes around to colleges and other places across this country talking to young people about financial literacy, just really making it cool for the younger generation. As much as we talk about these drill rappers and all these other people, I like to celebrate these young people like him. Again,
Mhm.
Hassan Thomas, FYI Fly. He dropped the episode. Me and him recorded a while back. It dropped this week. phenomenal energy, great conversation, just really sharing a lot of what it takes for us to build a new mindset. And I'm telling y'all, I'm not holding back 2025. What we are doing over here is a new mindset shift. And if you're really about that life and really want to shift your mindset, you're going to come find out what we're doing here at Sunday Stacks, what the I Am Brilliant movement is all about, and the other a la carte options that we have amongst what we're building that could really serve and benefit your life to really improve your family, community, and company.
So
So
hashtag replay. Make sure if you haven't had the opportunity to check it out yet, that you look it up on Hit Michael's social media. There's some clips. It's on LinkedIn. It's on Instagram. It's on Facebook. It's guaranteed. Matter of fact, when you listen to it, prove it. Prove that you listen to it by dropping a nugget in the comments on any of those platforms. I want to see if you're listening and growing. So show me better than you can tell me. Drop what you got out of it in the comments for sure.
I love it. I love it. And as we look to transition right now, we want to go ahead and jump right into our next part of the segment. This is our Sunday portion of the show. So, yes, we are talking about our topic this week because there's still a lot of things that I know is heavy on people, and we want to make sure we're sensitive here at Sunday Stat. Because sometimes me and Shemekka, we can let a lot of things just kind of wash over us and stay
Yes.
focused because we already know who's in charge. And so when you
Yeah.
know whose you are and you know who's in charge, you never worry about the decisions of man and who they choose to run this man-made world, but you focus on who's also ultimately in charge of the universe, and you stay in alignment. So this topic this week, we're going to reflect on some of the topics we've been coordinating over the last few weeks in Sunday school. And this week's topic is called contingency plan and real adulting. Yes,
Come on here now.
contingency plan and real adulting, and this is our moment
Yes.
right now to really reflect on how we can really start to build ourselves in a way that we start to really put our contingency plans together. So for those out there who look at a vote on the top of the ticket, which will say our presidential elections, we can't overlook it. We can't override it. Yes, the elephant's in the room. We know what happened. We'll say that a little bit later. But as we look to teach today in our contingency plan, is that nobody, as we said earlier, should have put their eggs in any one basket. You should have
Mhm.
been prepared for whomever may have won and how you were going to align your family, community, and your company. And for
Mhm.
those out there that are neglecting that type of thinking, now it's time to wake up. It's not time to feel bad about it. It's not time to feel like you're being called out for something you lack to do. It's time now to step into it, lean in, and understand that you've already been laying the foundations for a contingency plan. You've just been more concerned in fear, and you've allowed for the guidance of what's possible to really push you to a new level. And I think now that we starting to level set, see who's taking power from a political standpoint in these so-called parties, now it's time for us to really step up as citizens and really open ourselves up to what we really need for our communities to thrive so we all see a net benefit, especially here in these United States. But shout out to my international listeners as well too. But this is the way your mindset should be shaped around having contingency plans for things that may not go your way. Mike Tyson used to have a quote who always says that you always can start with a plan when you're boxing until you get punched in the face. So it's like everybody always thinks they have a plan and knows that what they're doing should win, or we have maybe some entitlement issues that make us think that when we choose for something to go our way, we think we're supposed to always win. But when there's moments like this when you have to catch that L and you got to take it as a lesson and really grow, this is where we really have to get to this part of we say real adulting. Shemekka, you want to give them some gems?
Well, I my first note I'll put here is that our contingency plan was not Vice President Harris. And I think probably since the spring of this year, as I have been doing consulting in community and people were gearing up for the election season, people were thinking about a contingency plan and trying. I don't even know if people really made one or if it just sounded good to say. But in the midst of all of that, I was the lone wolf crying, we need a consistency plan, not a contingency plan, because we can't depend on Vice President Harris. And matter of fact, she wasn't even up to bat yet. This was when it was Joe Biden and Donald Trump going vying for presidency. And for me, it was, I didn't like either one of them. So for me, it was about having something consistency. I don't care who's in office. If I get to whoever's in office, I have a plan for how they can advance what we're trying to do for liberation, justice, economic equity, pay equity, gender equity, health equity, and all the other things that racism has been coked up and renamed for. And so when I think about contingency plan, and for those that put their eggs in the basket and thought that Vice President Harris was the rescuer, you woke up feeling a little funky because you put all in on that, and not planning for there to be something else. And now we're sitting in fear because the media made us fearful if this were to happen. They made it the scary boogeyman. But I'm just encouraging you, wherever you are, take your moment, then let's get to what a consistency plan looks like, and making sure that the decisions you make also include knowing who these newly elected or re-elected officials are in our community, our local government, our state house, our state senate. I don't care who's generally over it. You need to know who yours is so that you can build that relationship and they can know you, because you may be the only story they have connected to the community that you represent because you made your presence known. So give yourself a moment, give yourself a hug, and let's keep going, because this isn't the end, and we got to keep moving forward and mobilizing, and we got to show what's possible. So I can show you better than I can tell you, but I know I can tell you this: if you stay there feeling like that for too long, you're going to be stuck and you're going to get caught in the matrix of not moving, and you're not going to be able to progress for your own self demise. So let's not self sabotage. Let's keep mobilizing. Let's heal. Let's reset and do whatever we need to do to keep it going, because we know that we operate great under pressure. We know we operate great under oppression. So this isn't anything new for us. It's new for those that didn't know that it could get this bad. So let's pull out what you've been working on and let's activate it, and let's go while people are looking and searching for something, including hope.
Well, and I love the perspective. I think what I would just say is the ideas don't have to die, right? Just because the person who you didn't want to necessarily win didn't win doesn't mean the ideas of the other party has to die. I think we're still at a place where you have close to half of the country that have an idea perspective that look like a better way to move forward in regards to your mortgage and getting mortgage assistance to buy that first home, or whatever the ideas were in regards to small business owners
Mhm.
getting tax credits. I think those
I
same
got 60
ideas,
days.
you still got it, right?
Got 60
Kamala's
days.
still in office now as vice president, and there's things that could be initiated that could be picked up by the next president based on, like, I dare her to go out here and go put these
Work
policies in
together.
place right now,
Yeah.
and then watch him either choose to pull it away from people, especially if it's at the benefit of close to half of the country who wanted these policies. To me, I think there's still strategy here that can be executed in regards to putting American people in a
Mhm.
place of balance and everyone getting what they want. But when you listen to these news pundits and everyone else out here, they're trying to sow division for their own economic gain.
Yeah,
And
don't
it's
fall for it.
disgusting.
Don't
Please
fall
don't
for
fall
it.
for it. Please don't fall for it. So, we would definitely could continue here, but we're gonna pick this part up of our show and we're gonna go ahead and transition into our favorite part of the show we call the Whiz of the week. Yes, the whiz of the week. Yes, I'm sorry for those who I may have startled. That's our normal little tambourine we use to introduce the whiz of the week. It's something we got in Puerto Rico, right? Right. So I
Yes,
like to bring
there we go.
that nice vibe, because we like to respect Puerto Ricans around here.
We
Unlike
love
other people, we
you.
love you, Puerto Rico. Yes, yes, part of the USA for sure. But shout out Puerto Rico and any listeners we may have out there. But yes, for the whiz of this week. Yes, we have to jump right into the Whiz of the Week topics. Yes, of course, Trump wins. Yes, we've been talking about the elephant in the room, and let's be clear, we wanted to save it here for the Whiz of the Week. But yes, Trump wins with a resounding win. Trump not only wins the White House, but the Republicans have swept across all of politics, from the Senate to the House to
House
all
is pending,
the
I
House.
think.
I mean, at this point, pending to what? Pending to Republican power. I think going back to what we were saying, yes, we must now have a way that the ideas that we wanted to see from a Democratic side, from independent sides, and even from Republican sides that all constituents start to see a better result in this here American, democracy because we are citizens. We are in a republic where we have elected people who will now have the authority and the power over a period of time to make certain decisions on our behalf, but we have to push them towards the right decisions that really benefit us all, that keep us healthy, that keep us safe, that keeps us prepared. And there's a lot of things coming out for this Trump win. Some people are excited about maybe the stock market. Some people think they're going to get tax incentives and breaks. There's so many things going on, but we definitely are happy that there's been a little bit more of a easier transition of power that looks like it's underway versus the last 4 years. What are your thoughts right here on this part of the Wizard of the Week, Shemekka?
Well, when we lift up the smooth transition, we cannot ignore that these national text messages have come out that are racist in nature. I think they even made the donkey of the day with Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club. But talk about people that already feel down and being kicked while they're down. Like, this is a blatant mental wellness attack that was strategic that came after Trump's win. Now, who started it, who's behind it, who's connected to it, doesn't matter as much as the impact of it. And I would encourage, I loved what was brought up that if you voted for Trump and you're not racist, then this is the time to stand up on your platforms and your social media and say, "Hey, I voted for Trump. And I'm not racist, and I am not in agreement with these racist text messages that have come out." I did not personally receive one, but I've seen the impact it's had on even seeing other people's messages that have been shared on social media. Again, that emotional war, mental health and wellness war and attack that's happening while we're down, or some of us are feeling down. So just be mindful of what you're taking in. Guard your eye gates and your ear gates, especially if you're feeling uh, very emotionally attached to what's happened, or if you're an empath and very sensitive to those energies that are around you. Um, be a wellness container for as much as you can, but don't be overtaken by it and get drug out too far into what we call the whiz wonderland uh, of what's being put in front of you to distract you. But stay focused and take your moment and what you need so that we can get not out. We need these whizzes to know that there's some things out there that are meant as distractions. So use this as another exercise of your awareness. You know it exists. You know it's happening. But don't spend too much time on it because there are bigger things that we need to focus on.
And I think when we look at the greater growth of where we're at today, I think we really have to get to a united America. And I think here at Sunday Stacks, that's our goal is how do we bring unity back to our country? Regardless of who took the presidency and regardless of however you may have an opinion, it is time for us to make sure that the goals of our FCC, our family, community, and company are repaired. Because we can't act as if just because me and Shemekka talk about how it stacks up for us week for week, we have bad weeks. We have things that are difficult and we have a lot of challenges. And now that we know
Absolutely.
that we're in a position where we have this new changing administration, there's this old guard of opinion that is afraid of new things that don't sound like things that would benefit them. We have to start to see everyone in a position where if everyone's doing well in America, we're all doing well, not other groups are doing better than me and that kind of mindset. And I think we have to really do a good job here in media to shift that narrative. And that's what we're aiming for here with Sunday Stacks.
That's what you get here.
That's why we got into the podcast game because I was tired of hearing voices that didn't sound like the thoughts that we bring in thought leadership.
And it wasn't leading us anywhere. It was rhetoric. It was rinse and repeat narratives. It was negativity. I even heard the statement today. I gotta look it up and understand it, but I did not know there was a thing that's impacted people called toxic positivity. It seems like an oxymoron, but it sparked my interest to know what that is. But it's out here, and apparently you can be positive to a toxic level for some people.
It must be me, people like me that's from Brooklyn who then decide to become motivational speakers. So you
Oscar.
can understand that. You can understand me.
Oscar made that
You're
up
gonna be good. You're gonna be happy
from
today.
Sesame
You're gonna be
Street.
happy today. No,
It's Oscar.
nah, but I mean, all jokes aside, it is unique to see that there is this reluctancy for people to be positive. But one thing I've learned throughout my work and what we do at I Am Brilliant as a thought leader and a teacher is that people cannot resist a smile.
Yeah.
One thing I realize is that people are mirrors. And so I've seen people in the last few weeks. I'm an independent, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, but I've seen people who want to be happy that their candidate won. And to me, in that opinion, just like a sports team, that's kind of their right to celebrate and be
Mhm.
happy. Like people who didn't see their candidate win shouldn't be mad because the person who candidate won. Like I think we have to reshift the way because you would be happy if your
Yeah.
candidate won
Right.
and the other side would be upset,
And you
right?
hadn't planned on how you were going to placate those that lost. Like even if it were you, I shared on a call this week the tension in life giving ways I found myself knowing that there could be a super negative impact no matter who won this week. In the community I live, it could be as riotous as sore losers and as riotous as overzealous celebratory winners and the agitating of the losing team. And don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. It's the taunting of the winners. Those, we can call them bullies. The bullies that are from the winning team that were diehard fans now get to gloat in the face of those that they feel like or that have identified a loss or losing. And that could have been a harmful environment just as much as it could have been vice versa. Put that from theory to practice. In Raleigh, North Carolina this week, there was a sniper shooting at cars on the interstate.
On the interstate, yo. Good
And
stuff.
it ended up being a white boy from NC State. So, when we think about
They still
or
having their white boy summer, huh?
they are having a white boy summer. Thankfully he was caught, but someone got shot through the cars. Several cars were damaged. It's dangerous out here, even with Trump winning. So you thought it was dangerous before. If Vice President Harris would have won, we would have still been hearing these kind of stories because people have something in them that 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 needs help and needs support. But one positive thing I'll say I'll live from this week that I've seen a lot more feed on my timeline about people wanting to pray. Now that everybody's ready to
They
pray.
ready to
And
pray.
if this is what brings us to the place of if all my people who are called by my name will
Preach it, man.
humble themselves and pray, turn from their wicked ways, I will heal the land. So that's something that brought to mind hope and positivity that whatever got us to our knees, let's keep praying and keep going and don't let this be a moment that just touches us now and in 6 months from now we doing something else.
And I mean, I think that's a best way to really kind of, wrap this kind of thought about because I think, we really have to now live with the decisions that have been made. And now we have to understand that if there are policies that you agreed with the other side that didn't win, try your best still to implement them within
Yeah.
your family, your community, and your company. The real thing I'm going to declare here to my community here at Sunday Stacks is we all need healing out here, y'all. We are in
Mhm.
pain. We are in depression. We are suicidal. We're angry. There's so much that has held, like bottled up potential that's in all of us here in America and God knows across the globe.
Right.
And if we can really start to become a different kind of beacon of hope, that's what we stand here with Sunday Stacks because I don't care
Exactly.
where you're at in North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Australia, wherever you're listening to Sunday Stacks, we encourage you week for week. See how life feels when you're looking to see how things can stack up. Don't look at
Mhm.
someone else on social media in any capacity and compare your life to their travels or what they have in possessions or what their families seem to look like. But
Right.
encourage yourself that week for week, wherever you were the week before, the next week you're going to improve yourself and continue to improve yourself. Get your individual I am brilliant mentality to bring out that illumination that's in you and then apply that love and that support to your family and
Right.
encourage them the same way. And then from there, once your family's mobilized, you take your family out in the community and you show that community the love that you and your family have for one another. And when that
Yes.
community sees that, then they say, hey, how can we start to create services and products that take care of this community that loves on each other, that takes care of their families, that has individual well-being and sentient ability to go forward in life and be all that's possible to be. And I think we have to foster a new America that can take us to that level and be willing to grow in so many new ways. So, I'm super thankful and grateful just to have this conversation. We are
Mhm.
grateful for those who checked us out live. We are, excited about our Sunday Stacks Live
Yes,
episode coming
yes.
up. So we hope for those who are listening with us this episode live, we thank you for being here. And then those who would listen to this in our recaps or checking us out on social media, we appreciate you all for supporting Sunday Stacks. We are pushing these episodes out. We're going to continue to improve our techniques, improve the quality of sound. Like,
Yes. Go check out the past episodes on the
there you go.
Live Podcast Network. Definitely subscribe to Sunday Stacks Podcast on the Live Podcast Network. What you do when you subscribe makes a difference in how we can continue to perpetuate the truth centering family, community, and company. So if you haven't checked us out on the Live Podcast Network, download the app and do so. Definitely make sure you check out past episodes also on YouTube on the Sunday Stacks YouTube page too.
That's awesome. And make sure that you check out ShemekkaEbony.com, Shemekka.com. Check out her books, While I'm Getting Naked, Sanctuary Life. They're out there, y'all. These tools are here to help you. Check me out at StewartIsaacs.com, where you can book me for speaking. Definitely, we need the support, y'all. We want to continue to have the platforms showing up at your places to really connect with your audiences. Let them know what we feel of what it takes to stack up and continue to support and like and subscribe on YouTube too. Please leave some comments. Let's talk. Let's chat. Like talk to us in social media, DM us, definitely like let's connect in so many ways so we can continue to grow and be fruitful together. So Shemekka, anything else you want to lay on the people?
Nope, that is it.
All right. So as we wrap every episode, we love to always say, I
I
am
am
brilliant
brilliant.
and
You
you are
are
too.
too.
Thank you again for tuning in this episode of Sunday Stacks. Hope you enjoyed it, got some nuggets from it. We'll see you next week. Peace.